We talk about this all the time. This is just being filmed.
I
Like
know.
I spend hours with her talking about all this. Hi, I'm Kanagi. And if you're the type of person who stands in front of their skincare shelf and is thoroughly confused, you're not alone. Today, we're here to discuss some skincare tips. And by that, I mean things that you should not be doing in 2026, habits that you should be doing, and the products that you should be using. And we have no one better but my favorite dermatologist, Dr. Madhuri Agarwal, doing this with us today. So I can't wait to get into this fantastic conversation all about the sins that you're doing to your skin. So I'm gonna get right into it because this is my most favorite topic. As you know, I love talking about this and I love having this conversation. Us as beauty people, when we're in the industry and we're just talking, it's very natural for us to just say, oh, you have pigmentation in this area of your face, you have pigmentation, around your mouth. But what is pigmentation?
So I'll tell you one thing. For us as dermatologists, pigmentation is natural and hyperpigmentation is abnormal.
Right.
Now, pigmentation is nothing but the color of the skin. There are something called as melanocytes which produce melanin. So in a normal day when everything is fine, it will produce normal pigment. But sometimes there are trigger factors like UV damage, hormones, certain kind of inflammation like acne.
Right.
So it just pushes them into an overdrive and then they start, overperforming, throwing out a lot of pigmentation, and this melanin doesn't know where to go. So it sits on different levels of the skin and gives you a very uneven, skin color. When there's pigmentation excess, when the light hits, it gets absorbed, and then you say, oh, you got a dark spot or you got a pigmentation.
Technically, the problem is hyperpigmentation, and pigmentation is naturally occurring in our skin. So what would trigger this? Like normally, what would you see a lot of your clients or people who come to you for consultations in your clinic, what do you see is the most common trigger?
So I think by nature, our Indian skin, whenever you get, any kind of injury or light to it, it will turn dark. That's our natural response. And with time, it just builds up. It could be sun. That's the biggest culprit because we have high UV index throughout the year in our country. And though we say we're using sunscreen, but honestly, let me be clear, nobody uses it. I know people are guilty of that. So
Guilty of this. Oh my god, I should not make eye contact with you for this conversation.
So then, and whenever you go with unprotected skin, even if it's for 5-10 minutes, you build up that pigmentation, just accumulates. So yes, UV damage is the biggest culprit. Then hormones. So we have a condition called melasma, which is very common in India. You see those dark butterfly patches here after pregnancy, after certain medication. So that is another condition driven by hormones. And third is inflammation of any kind, as I mentioned. It could be acne, it could be just some allergic rash you have rubbed yourself. And that goes again into a hyperpigmentation condition. So I think by and large, I see all phases happening in an individual life at any point of time. Different factors trigger pigmentation.
So if there's recurring pigmentation, what is the thing that makes the biggest difference?
So I think the first thing is to understand that people often treat the symptoms and not the root cause of the problem. So, they'll go, I have a dark spot that's trending and let me just apply it and my pigmentation will vanish. No, it doesn't work that way. So you have to understand, is it hormones? Is it UV light? What is causing it? Is it acne? So I go to a dermatologist, get a diagnosis and treat the condition A. So I think for me, yes, as a dermatologist, I'm very happy to use clinically backed research ingredients like Eucerin brands,
I think we've been hearing about Eucerin. You've been recommending it to us for such a long time.
Because they put a lot of thought into it, and thereby, when we use these products along with our treatments, it gives a lot of gratifying results and patients are happy, because they see faster results also, and also the consistency matters.
Right. I know we've always spoken about how every trend is not for everyone. Skincare is not one size fits all.
Absolutely.
So where does that place us on the prevention and cure of hyperpigmentation?
So I think for us, trends, yes, come and go. And a lot of times these trends are Western driven. I would use those words because our Indian skin is very unique and different. It has its own challenges as well as its benefits.
Right.
So when we're looking at trends, we should look at them very fairly and understand, does it really make sense to me? Also, who is speaking about it? Secondly, for me, again, as a dermatologist, ingredients matter a lot.
True.
So it could be an age-old ingredient which has worked for me. I'll continue using them. I'll not fall for a hype and say, oh, this one is new, because it could just be a flash in the pan and not work. So as a dermatologist, I'll always back on ingredients which target the actual pigment pathway. So I like my ingredients to be also tolerable and comfortable for my patients. And when I look at certain brands, why I like Eucerin is it is effective, but it's also very comfortable. My patients don't get irritated with it.
Right.
And that's why they use it more longer consistently. The compliance goes up, as we call
Got
it.
So, the one thing that I hear constantly from readers, from friends, I think from family and everyone, is that there are so many products out there and they want to try everything because the curiosity is so high. Then they try everything and then it doesn't work on their skin and they're heavily disappointed that, oh my god, this has not worked on their skin, which is also why I think we brought in this idea called like skincare sins. Just want to know, like, what would you constitute as, say, the biggest skincare sin that people are making today?
I think there are a couple of cliches and non-cliches for me. One is definitely being the Google doctor, trying to do a lot of things on your own, the trends, being heavily influenced, and getting captivated. Oh, this is product I have to have. It is to die for, and then you're just layering and dumping on your skin.
Yeah.
So I feel skin is an organ, the largest organ, and when you keep poking somebody, it's going to slap back. And that's what happens, when you do a lot of layering, over a period of time, it's going to get irritated and start showing reactions. And that's a sign that what you're doing is not right. Right? Secondly, as I said, Indian skin is very prone to inflammation and heals with pigmentation.
Yeah.
So you have to be very mindful of that and, start slowly, ease into it. It's like I tell my patients, it's like feeding baby the new food. You wean your skin into it.
Yeah.
So start with basics, see how your skin is doing, be patient. It's, skin has a cycle of 28 days, as we say.
Right.
So give it that time to show that effect. Don't be in hurry that in 15 days it's not showing result. Let me try this.
Yeah.
Again, another 15 days. So you're just going backward instead of forward. A. Secondly, a lot of DIYs at home. Unfortunately, that's not the thing you should be doing because
are people still doing DIYs in 2026?
As you said, there are things which you think, are you still doing it?
Oh my god. Yes. I like 2006 Kannagi was doing a lot of DIYs. Let's be honest. I was making my own lip balm.
Fine.
I was
Fair.
Making my own lip plumpers. I was trying homemade masks, putting whatever was on the fridge in my face. 2026, I'm not doing this. Are people actually coming to you with DIYs?
I'm very proud of you. On record.
Thank you. Everybody heard it here. I'm just saying, yes. Okay.
But yes, people are still falling for that. And and coming to that worst part is people actually want to go and make their own sunscreen, which is a crime.
At home?
At home, yes.
People are making sunscreen
Yes.
at home in 2026.
Yes.
Guys, please stop doing this. She's too nice to say it, so I'll say it. What do you mean? Like, we have great brands
Absolutely
formulating
fine.
fantastic sunscreens. Just pick up one of these. Like, I don't know how it. Wow. Okay. So, in my book, I feel like skipping sunscreen is the biggest skincare sin. And to understand is obviously it's a sin, but why is skipping sunscreen a sin? What does a good sunscreen, something like from Eucerin, what does it do for your skin and why consistent application is important? And how skipping sunscreen can make your pigmentation worse?
I'm glad you asked this question because people go about sunscreen or not use a sunscreen and all, but they really don't understand there's a science to it. So with sun we have UVA, UVB, and we're also talking of visible light nowadays, which is the lights that are around us, and they are also impacting Indian skin. So when we're looking at, people say that I'm at home all day, why do I need a sunscreen? But with our Indian skin type, UVA and visible light is the biggest culprit.
Yeah.
So the light comes into the glass. You're cooking, the heat is affecting your skin. You may just step out to the market or office for 5 minutes, and then you're collecting, as we could say, it's a cumulative damage which is happening.
Yeah.
So you're collecting it, and I have patients who come at 40s and saying, I got this pigmentation suddenly. I'm like, boss, this didn't happen suddenly. You collected starting from your 20s because you skipped your sunscreen. So it goes and damages your DNA. It keeps your melanocytes stimulated again and again, thereby producing a lot of melanin, which gets deposited in different layers. And then after a point, it comes to the surface, and that's when you say, oh, I got a pigmentation. So it's important that you make sure that you use it religiously every day, at least once. And when you're using a sunscreen, it's important that we try to layer with pigmentary serums, which will help correct pigmentation, or a moisturizer. What happens is when you're using a sunscreen like Eucerin, it has inbuilt a lightening agent, it has a hydrating agent, plus a good broad spectrum UV protection.
Right.
So you're covering one with one product is giving multiple benefits. So why not stick to it consistently? So it's important to pick a product which is effective but also very comforting to your skin. And I think brands like Eucerin have that USP which helps. So a lot of my patients are happy using it because they use it consistently without any hitch.
So again, before I move to discussing another skincare sin, I also want to know what should people be reading on a label and picking up when they're buying a sunscreen.
So look at the label which has a broad spectrum sunscreen, a minimum SPF 30 for Indian skin,
Okay.
and also a PA 4 plus, which is your UVA protection. So these are the elements you should look. And then obviously according to your skin type, is it there may be water resistant. So when you're sweating, it doesn't go off very easily. It is there for some time. When you say water resistant, it doesn't mean it is going to stay forever, but at least for a few hours.
Right.
And then you touch it up. That's why we say after 2-3 hours you should reapply sunscreen. So I think a product like Eucerin, the sunscreen has all these factors. And I said additionally, I'm also looking as a one product, especially male patients. They don't like using multiple products, and I think a lot of our female patients also because of the humidity.
Yeah.
So a brand like Eucerin, the sunscreen has the ideal SPF, the PA factors, so like a broad spectrum sunscreen, plus it has a lightening agent. So that helps with the pigment, so it's like a preventive thing, which is building up and you're kind of correcting it. Plus it has hydrator, like a moisturizing feel. So the skin doesn't feel very dehydrated at the end of the day because of sun exposure. So I think holistically, I'm looking at all these elements as a dermatologist to see how best my patient will use this consistently without saying that I didn't like it, or there was a white cast to it,
Right.
or it made me very iffy, or whatever. That way.
Yeah. Okay, so my next skincare sin, I feel like, is something that we touched upon a little bit, but I really need to elaborate, is product hopping. It is my biggest peeve, and I feel like it's going to be yours as well. And it's not just about trending products. It's not about seeing something on Instagram and being like, oh, I want to use this, I want to use that. But it's also when you recommend a product, I'm pretty sure you have a lot of clients who would be like, oh, it's been 15 days, it's not working. Clearly, there's a problem. Please suggest something new. So I want, to understand how this habit of like product hopping, of how things changing, how this habit actually affects hyperpigmentation, and also generally how it affects the skin for the future,
So what happens is when, as you rightly said, this is the biggest, I literally in my head am like, pulling my hair out when people come and say, oh, I've used like 10 products and still not working, or, I changed because, product was not working. So I went to this product, but that's also not working. Skin is science, right? As I mentioned, skin has a life cycle. So, in the younger age, at 28, 30 days, you turn over and then the new skin takes its place.
Yeah.
And in an older age, maybe after 40, 50 days, the skin turns over. So you have to give it that time for it to work.
Right.
So when you're using any product, be it a pigmentation or an acne product or any like a sunscreen also or a moisturizer also, it takes time for it to show results. So it's important, and when you're not doing all these things, also using multiple ingredients. So there's something called as a drug interaction, we call it. What I mean by that is, say you're using a vitamin C and a retinol at the same time. You're actually kind of creating more problems by inflaming the skin, irritating it, rather than benefiting it. So it's important to understand the ingredients, use one thing patiently, give it 3 months. Yes, after 3 months you feel this is not working for me, then you consult your dermatologist and say, is there a other problem, or is it something that I'm not having? Seeing the results. So I tell my patient, after 1 month you start seeing some changes, you're on track. Give it time and you'll reach there.
Yeah. This is something that I've noticed, at least in the last couple of years, where people are not just impatient about results, they're just impatient in general. If you tell them use multiple products, that becomes a problem. If you tell them, okay, you have to use this serum in the morning and this serum at the night, that becomes a problem. So like the general impatience and inconsistency is, I feel like, affects skin now more than ever. So I feel like you really need to shed light on why this impatience and inconsistency actually affects the skin the way it does.
With everything, as we say, slow and steady wins the race. Actually, with skin, it does. So So when you're using one product which you like consistently, over a period of time, it's going to start showing the results. That's very important to understand. You don't have to do multiple things. Just do three things right: a face wash, a moisturizer, sunscreen. Brands like Eucerin I like is because in that one product you get everything. So it's very convenient to use because everybody's moving fast, getting out there, doing things. So just pick up one product, apply it, you get the coverage of correction of dark spots, a sun protection, a moisturizer also. And when you're doing that, and you like doing it because you're doing one thing and you're done, sorted, right? And again, some of the serums, again, they have, you can use them morning, night. So your economy is better. You're using the same product, so you don't forget.
Yeah.
I'm using this in the morning, I'm using it at night also, and I'm getting the dark spot correction also. So I think those are the products I would look and tell my patients start using them. Once you are like a pro on that, and it's like setting the base right, eating dal chawal for few months, and then you can go to a little more addition like a pigment serum additionally, or a eye cream additionally,
Right.
or something else you want to add. That's how I would layer a skin routine for my patients.
All these sins are somehow connected. You can just have a basic routine. Like these two products could make up a routine for me.
Absolutely.
The Eucerin anti-pigment serum and the sunscreen is a complete routine by itself for me, and that could work for me. But then I look at Instagram, I scroll through my feed, I see so many different things, and I want more things, and then that turns into product hopping, which then you're overloading your skin, not
Absolutely.
listening to your skin. So I feel like the baseline of this should be that okay, just listen to your skin and meet your dermatologist.
Yes.
Or like the other way around, listen to your dermatologist. a
And
little
just follow a
more.
basic routine.
So if someone were to tackle or wants to tackle their hyperpigmentation and dark spots without endless experiments or whatever, what is that one ingredient that they should look at?
I think when we're looking at anti-pigmentation or anti-hyperpigmentation ingredients, we're looking at what targets the pathway of pigmentation.
Right.
So, we as dermatologists know there's a pathway, and on different levels, the ingredient has to go and work. So, also what happens is parallelly when these ingredients are working, like we have some older molecules, when we're using them, what happens is they work on the pigmentation, but they also damage the surrounding skin, which further leads to inflammation, and then in the long run, there's again a reverse hyperpigmentation happening. So, when I'm looking at ingredients like thiamidol, now what we do is first, the best part is it is the first human-derived, tyrosinase inhibitor. That is the pigment pathway, which is what I like about it. Secondly, it very selectively and specifically just targets the pigment without damaging the surrounding skin. And the best part is they have a lot of clinical papers backing it.
Yeah.
Even in a month, my patients start seeing that result.
If someone were to pick up this product that consists of thiamidol from Eucerin, what does it mean when you say that okay, it does not damage the rest of the skin, but it definitely deals with the pigmentation?
So basically, I said there's a enzyme called tyrosinase. Now that is what is triggering your pigmentation.
Okay.
So whenever there's any inflammation or any trigger factor, the tyrosinase activity goes up and there's excess pigment. Now ingredients like thiamidol specifically go and inhibit the tyrosinase pathway, and thereby it is gradually clearing up the pigmentation. And when you're using it on a long term, it's also kind of preventing the dark spots, reducing the pigment from happening, reducing the melasma. So it's in fact approved, and there are papers showing that it is used for mild to moderate melasma, which is a big win as dermatologists because it's very difficult to treat for us. At the same time, patients don't come back and say that okay, this dark spot is better, but I'm seeing some irritation on the surrounding skin. So that's why I meant that it doesn't irritate the surrounding skin, and I'm not seeing any future damage on the skin. And this is the USP of the ingredient thiamidol, which I see.
If I have a product that's dealing with one problem, but then is also say drying out my skin or giving me a little bit of irritation, for which there are corrective measures that I can
Absolutely.
take, or I can use another moisturizer.
Yes.
But if I don't have the patience to do that, then again it will just be that vicious cycle that we're constantly going in.
So there are a lot of ingredients which are fantastic, they really clear up the dark spots, but later on it leads to a lot of irritation, allergies, rashes, and these are all proven molecules. So that's why we are looking at, as dermatologists, like an evolved thing which will really give the benefits without the side effects. And I think for me that thiamidol product really hits the spot.
So when you're looking for like dermatologist-led skincare brands, what are the factors? And I'm talking from like a clinical, very serious clinical perspective. What are the factors that would make a product trustworthy to you for you to then recommend it to, your clients, consumers?
So, I look at clinical research, are my colleagues looking at it? Also, it's important that, you should evolve with time, as I said, because skin conditions are changing. As you rightly said, the environment, the pollution, everything is changing, so our skin reacts very differently. I also look at the formulation. They should be transparent that these are the ingredients, this is the percentage, this is how we have made it. So, as a dermatologist, I would like to deep dive into that, and also what are the preservatives used? Is it comfortable? And when I'm looking at ingredients, I said I'm looking at Indian skin. Because sometimes the studies may be on Western skin, but does it suit our Indian skin? Maybe not. So I would definitely want to look at what are the Indian studies talking about it. Like a lot of brands are very transparent as a legacy, I would call it. They are not just talking about the now. Throughout the years, they have been consistent with their research, with their formulation. They've proven themselves time and again.
So, like you said, there is a legacy, and I would like to touch upon that for a second, because Eucerin has over, I think, a century of dermatological and clinical research behind it, and that is real legacy right
Absolutely.
there. It's been well known in the dermatologist circuit for such a long time. I want to know how important that legacy is, specifically when you're recommending a product from a brand.
More than years, it is also how, as I said, evolved they are, how in sync they are with times, and they're really looking at molecules or formulations. But also, as dermatologists, we see a lot of live patients every day, and they give us a lot of feedback, which sometimes maybe at the back end or the researchers may not understand. What I find with brands like Ustream is they really listen to the dermatologists. There are a lot of dermats as collaborators and researchers, and they're really looking and understanding, yes, this is a skin need, and these are the formulation, and we have tried it in so many consumers or patients, and we really found effective results. And they also open that yes, it gave a fair bit of maybe some side effects which are manageable. So it's not only the good, the bad is also shown to us. So for me, moving with times, giving that respect to on-ground people like dermatologists who are really dealing with the problems and going and giving a solution is very essential.
Yeah.
So I think that is what a legacy is about for me, and that's what I see in brands like Ustream.
When you are recommending a routine, where does a serum, say with thiamidol, fit into that routine?
I think for me, I'm always a low-key person, that I like to give minimum. I don't like to overload my patients with a lot of things, because let's be practical. In a busy life, it's not easy. You may start with that energy and that, yes, I want to do 10 things, but over a period of time, it goes away. So I like to stick to a basic face wash, moisturizer, sunscreen, do that very well. Now, when a brand like Eucerin or Thiamidol as an ingredient is there, for me, the best part is it corrects the dark spots, but also the formulation is not irritating. So, say even if you're not using anything but a sunscreen and a face wash, the product works for my patient, and you can use it twice a day. So, you don't have to buy another extra product for the night. You use this morning and night, great results. They also have inbuilt it in a sunscreen. So you don't use to have a separate serum altogether. You can use it as a part of your sun protection and dark spot corrector together.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I like this ingredient, and patients are coming back and happy about it. That's as a doctor, it's gratifying when you don't have to ask, oh, did the product work? The first thing they say is, oh, this product really worked for me. I'm enjoying using the product. So then half the battle is done. That confidence goes up.
What I'm trying to understand is, when you simplify this routine and then you have to give a targeted solution, how do you introduce that targeted solution? And then secondly, what is the best outcome that comes just by basic consistency?
Yeah.
So I think that's the two-pronged question that I have.
I think for me, when the patient comes, it's very important to educate them. And nowadays, everybody wants to know the whys and what's of it. I think everybody has their own self of understanding, and I would want to, incorporate that. It's very fair. So when a patient comes to me, I understand what is their routine, what is doable for them, what is not doable in the long run, not just right now to fix a problem. And I'll start with basic, as I said, the steps. And if I'm introducing a product, I will always tell them do a patch test. Always do it on the side of the jawline, see is it doing well for you, and then start using it every day. After a couple of weeks, they will start seeing the changes. They'll say, it is looking more hydrated, or it's looking more brighter, and that gives the cues that they are more inclined. And I also feel, yes, I'm on the right track. There may be times when they say, this product didn't suit me. Fair enough, because it's like a customized thing. They don't change the product. But once we get that routine right and they enjoy doing it, they continue doing it. And over a period of time, they'll see after 2 months, 3 months, they see the skin is more brighter, the dark spots are fading out, the texture is more hydrated, and it is like nice light reflection. The skin feels they're more confident about their skin, and they're more inclined to do things.
So I feel like we've spoken a lot about skincare sins, and I feel like I have to been very tough on
Yeah.
people and these skincare sins. So for the people watching, if they have been committing a few sunscreen, I know you're not still wearing it. I know you're not wearing it. But for the people who are committing these skincare sins that we've been talking about so many times, how would you guide them to like resetting a routine?
First thing is, I will tell them that get all the products. There's a dustbin, please throw them in. Jokes apart, I will actually understand how many things are they using, because it could be counterproductive. Then I just like declutter it. Tell them, let's start with the basics: a cleanser, a moisturizer, sunscreen. Let's do that very well. Get into that. Come back after 10 days. Set the foundation right.
Yeah.
And then when they come back, I ask them, what is your primary concern now? Oftentimes, a lot of the skin inflammation has gone down, they're happier. So then we're left with either dark spot correction, or maybe that melasma is still bothering them, or the acne mark is there. So then we would pick and choose. I'll tell them, okay, let's start with one serum. It could be, like the Eucerin Dual Pigment Serum, which I tell them use it morning and night. They're happy because they have to use one product. They get used to it, they like the product. And sometimes that's enough, right? You don't need to add one more thing to the routine. Unless there's some patients who say, no, I want something more. Maybe add a chemical exfoliant once in 10 days. But I like to keep it this much. And then if certain cases which have like severe melasma or other things, then we call them to the clinic and do treatments also. But at least for 3 to 6 months is my expectation they use this routine. Get the most out of it, and then maybe make a change. So that's how I would want to build a routine for a patient. And as I said, we don't need 10 steps. Even if you do 3 or 4 steps right, you're through.
So it's a genuine reset. Like
Yes.
if you've been doing any of these skincare sins, your first step is a reset. You have to completely let go of everything that you know, and then move towards something that that will help your
Yes.
skin and is tailor made for your skin.
Absolutely.
Because skincare is definitely not one size fits all. I think we've established that through this
Absolutely.
conversation, if nothing else.
Yes.
So if someone wanted to start fresh with the proper pigmentation routine, what would that next 30 days, like, because you said that's the skincare cycle, so what would that next 30 days realistically look like? And where would something like the Eucerin Anti-Pigment Dual Serum and the Pigment Control Sunscreen fit into that routine?
I think for me, as I said, I start with sunscreen, and if I have something like the Eucerin Pigment Serum, which has a couple of elements to it, I would start with that first. And I have had patients who come in, like say 15 days when I call them back, and they see my skin is overall feeling better, more lighter also. At times, the dark spots look less visible, or overall, I'm feeling my skin is more healthier, and I love what it's doing to my skin. So there are times within 15-20 days, say 3 weeks, we start seeing those initial changes. As I said, the skin cycle is starting to move. And then after that, I continue with it. So every month that there's a cumulative progress, and then we reach a plateau, and then we say, okay, now do we continue with this, or we need to make some changes? So that's the kind of conversations we have. The Eucerin Pigment Serum, it is multiple benefits. Besides hematol, it has other ingredients also, which are hydrating, reducing the dark spots, treating your melasma, multiple benefits. So I introduce it. If they are open to using it, then I start with the serum first, then add the sunscreen in the morning. Come back, wash your face. That's a very important step, especially double cleansing. You know how it is, the pollution and makeup. So you need to do that, and then add the Eucerin Pigment Dual Serum again in the night, and maybe add a moisturizer if your skin is really very dehydrated, or overnight sleep mask, and that's about it. So that's a very simplified routine. 2 things in the morning, 2 things in the night, and I've actually seen these changes in a month in the skin happening.
So I think we've had a fantastic conversation about skincare sins, and I have learned a lot. The 3 most important takeaways for me would be sunscreen is very important, product loading is never the answer, and the third and the most important thing, consistency is key. You have to be patient, you have to be consistent, and you have to give your products time to work. I think that's been our conversation today. Thank you so much, Dr. Madhuri, for
My pleasure.
doing this. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.